Hey, hello viewers, it's Curveball time, and welcome to the show where we celebrate and embrace the little and huge shockers in opinions that make life and people interesting. It's the Curveball podcast, and we advise that you keep your protective gear on at all times because a curveball may hit you at any time. I'm joined by a cast that is always down for all sorts of shenanigans, and my name is the Big Daddy Mike Abdulsalam, and I'm joined by to our extreme right, we have joining us one time only. Thank you very much for coming. It's
Thank you.
Funto.
Yes.
And she's
Hi.
going to play a very pivotal part on the show today. Of course, as usual, we have one of the rascally members of the gang.
I want to believe you're talking about him, not me.
You are both rascally.
I don't know what you're talking
How
about.
can you say we are
What's
both?
that?
You are both rascally.
It's either I'm more rascally or she.
Well,
is
you
less
already
rascally.
said
do
this.
you
You
have
cannot
to?
put me on the same
Why
level
must
with her,
you always encyclopedialize everything?
Wahala.
Yeah,
more or
yeah.
less.
Yeah, I know English. Thank you very much. It's Toby and Richie, ladies and gentlemen.
Hola, hi guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not them. Okay. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about inside the Nigerian mind, mental health in Nigeria. So feel free to join the conversation at the Curveball podcast. As usual, we have our props here. The most controversial contributor will go home with the bat. The one with the most agreeable takes goes home with the ball. And the bell is there in case anybody gives any bass and you want to respond with a boost. All right, it's curveball time, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said earlier, the topic is inside the Nigerian mind, mental health in Nigeria. And to start off, Funto here is actually an accomplished and certified therapist. She's going to be giving us from all professional angles, and I'm going to be here to rebuff from all professional angles because I don't know why we did talk about mental health in the first place. But anyway, today we want to address a subject that affects millions of Nigerians. That's mental illness. It's something that's actually serious. Imagine waking up every day with an invisible weight pressing down on you. You smile, you laugh, you interact with others, but deep inside, you're struggling. And in a country where resilience is often mistaken for invulnerability, too many of us carry these silent battles alone. Well, that was a wonderful insight into mental health, and I just had to read it with a solemn way for most of you, and for all of you that actually take it serious. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Me, I know.
Why will you not take mental health serious?
I don't understand you. For the love of God, you just suck it up and move on. Life comes with
Now,
problems.
it gives perspective into a lot of things you put on social media.
I don't understand. Why are you? That's infringement of privacy. Why are you bringing my?
Why are you putting it out there?
I don't understand. It's my status. It's my right.
And you put it out there for us to view.
It's your choice to view. It's your choice to move on.
Exactly, but you still put it out there, mean that you want people to view it. So now it puts into perspective a lot of things that Abdulsalam puts out because if you're following Abdulsalam, if you have his WhatsApp number.
I entertain you guys.
You what?
It's not mental health issues.
Oh, guys, is in total inside it. There's problem. We need to check.
Let's leave my social media page out.
You agree? You see, he's laughing.
You they ever want to. let's leave my social media page out of this. Real quick, you know how we do this. The first segment of the show, it's a brief insight into what we're talking about. Let's start off with our resident professional therapist here. Please give us exactly the lowdown on what you know about mental health from a professional angle. These two are learners. I know enough.
You know enough?
Yeah, meaning I don't want to know. But
Okay, so what do you know? If you know enough.
I know, to me, I would really not love to go deep into it because it's not the time for us to go deep into it yet, but just a preamble from my side. To me, I feel it's just a concept invented by people as a form of coping with things that actually are supposed to happen. Instead of you to just accept that these things are supposed to happen and move on, we're trying to make it seem like the human mind is a very fragile thing, and humans are always trying to put themselves in places where they want to seem like they can handle stuff. When you're just supposed to accept that there are some things you cannot handle. And, we bring this concept of mental health and you try to make it seem like we always want to be in control of everything and, to make it seem like we are in a space where we can handle everything. When meanwhile, there are some things that are greater than you and they happen and you move on and you just accept that they happen and you move on and don't make it seem like a big thing and create an entire concept out of it just because, I don't know, that's where the whole thing stands to me. So, that's where I stand. So I don't know. What do you have to say about that?
Okay.
She don't analyze me finish.
No. I was just listening and I was just following along. Okay, so when we talk about mental health, like it's literally two words, mental and health, which means it's just the state of our mental and psychological and emotional well-being, right? What you're describing is how mental health has kind of become a buzzword recently, and you have reactions to it, because that's what I'm hearing you describe, right? But at the core of it, the same way physical health is just about maintaining your overall physical well-being, that's what mental health is about, just maintaining your mental and emotional well-being so that you can contribute to society, you can be an active member of society, and be able to respond to the adverse things that come up in life. Because yes, things do happen in life, right? But if you're not mentally healthy, you're not going to have a healthy response to the adverse things that come up in life. So that's what mental health is about at its core.
When you say if you're not mentally healthy, you're not going to have a healthy response to the adverse things that happen in life. I don't know. I'm going to take a page as popular catchphrase. I'm going to steal it from you. I beg to differ.
Go ahead.
Because I personally feel that as long as whatever is coming, as long as you can just, just like I said earlier, just look at it and be like, it has happened, it has happened. Why do I have to actually believe I should be in a state of, mental well-being, if that's even a thing, just because I should be able to, just for me to believe I can handle it.
So what does mental well-being mean to you?
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh yeah, hotspots, answer.
I think I should answer for him.
On his behalf.
Why do you want to answer?
No, why don't you?
No, he has begged to differ, which is stealing from me. But
Okay.
now let me answer. From what he's saying, he's sounding like somebody who does not believe that mental health is a thing. Our mind is just...
It's just there. It's just meant to be there.
Like the mad people on the streets. They are just mad. It's normal. That's just how they are supposed. Because that's what you said. You said you're making mention of that you should just suck it up, suck everything up. But then there's the part where you suck up and then it stays. It does not actually go away. I believe our psychologist here can attest to that. You cannot really suck it up and then it will dissolve. It stays there. And the mind is not as plain as you think of it, that you too, There are times that you just show up in the scene and you are like,
Wait, hold on. Why is everyone bringing my outside life into
because you are acting like you're oblivious.
To the fact.
I don't know.
And then even picking up from what he's saying about sucking up. Okay, let's use the analogy of a sponge. Sponge is made to take water. It gets to a point, it can't absorb water anymore because, excuse me, it has gotten to its limits.
So that's smelling.
Thank you. To start smelling.
Nice.
If you don't drain and squeeze out the water. So I feel that's how the mind is. Yes, you may want to say, oh, you just suck it up. Just take it as it is. It's part of life. It's get to a point, trust me, you cannot take it anymore. And that's when, like she said, mind and health, mental and health, it depicts the fact that it can either be good or it can either be bad. Like you were saying this morning, you don't feel well. You don't feel too healthy. Exactly. The way your body has to be healthy, sorry to cut you short, the way your body has to be healthy, your mind also has to be healthy for you to be able to function as a human being. But it is what it is.
It's just pricking me in many different ways.
Okay.
To him, the mind
is not something you should pay attention to. The way you pay attention to your body.
Okay, we've got some pointers here that should actually help us to aim and direct this conversation in a more streamlined manner. But before that, and that will come on the second half of the show, before that, let's go on a quick break. It's still the Curveball podcast, ladies and gentlemen. The cast is here, the full crew is here. We have a professional here, and Mr. Ozuzo already telling me that my opinions is me.
I didn't say that, so don't put words in my mouth.
She didn't say that, but I'm just trying to relate.
What does it matter?
Oh, God. Anyway, we'll be right back. Still the Curveball podcast. You're not going anywhere. We'll be back. Let's go for a quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Curveball podcast. And of course, like I said earlier before that break, the cast and the full house is here when we're talking about this thing that I personally don't know why we're talking about it. But,
This thing,
this
thing, Sha.
This thing. Yeah, it's still the concept of mental health. And like I said before we went on the break, we are going to be taking this conversation in more streamlined and orderly and structured ways. Starting off with a question that applies to our resident professional here before the rest of them take it on. I don't know what they are saying that today. I don't know whether they have qualifications.
At least we still believe in this more
Do
than
you
we
have
believe.
any qualification?
We don't have qualification, but the fact that we are open to the concept of mental health is the step in the right direction, please, compared to you.
Aye. Anyway, okay, starting off with this question for the lovely Funto. Is the concept of mental health too... What are you saying there?
Did you say lovely?
Is she not lovely?
She's lovely. She is
Definitely,
lovely.
this is a mental health problem, but we'll get to
Well,
that.
How is me complimenting
Don't worry,
someone in mental health problem?
We'll explain. I'm
These
sure you are not a professional in this
These
field.
are the issues.
Okay.
But anyway, this question, like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, is the concept of mental health too westernized to fully apply to the Nigerian context?
So, as with most things, when we talk about applying a concept, we have to look at something called cultural sensitivity, right? And what that means is that something that applies in the West, right, may not directly copy and paste in another part of the world. So, if we look at Nigeria as an example, and the reason is that values are different, community looks different, traditions are different, and things like that, right? So we have to look at cultural sensitivity. So now, is the concept of mental health too westernized? I don't think it's too westernized. I think that we just have to be culturally sensitive to how Nigerian functions, to how our community functions, to how, things just already work in the system. So we're not trying to entirely change the culture, right? But we're trying to adapt whatever concept it is to the culture. So it's the same way how like a doctor might tell you, oh, go and take XYZ medication for whatever is going on. And another doctor may even recommend that you should take agbo, right? That is culturally sensitive because they know that agbo is readily available. It's something that already exists within the community. It's something that people are already familiar with. So their doctor telling them, okay, you can take, 1 cup of agbo, that doctor is being culturally sensitive, right? So as a mental health professional, you need to be able to relay the concepts of mental health in a culturally sensitive way that the person that you're prescribing it to would be able to understand what it is you're talking about.
Okay. Oh, that was
Calming. It was calming. Like
And you understood.
so much knowledge poured out. I'm sure
was
it's
informative.
It calmed me. Because that's like their job. Like when they talk, you feel calm. I'm sure you two are calm because
I'm
before now you were.
I'm telling you.
Stop it.
Small test now. Hey, that's the
Do
thing.
not bring Alagbadu into this.
You have to keep everything.
I'm the only one that's
in check.
allowed to bring Alagbadu into conversation.
Why?
Why not? You dey stay for Alagbadu. Don't stay there. Exactly. Leave it to us that are staying there. Thank you very much. All right. I have a lot of flags to stick in all you've just said.
Okay.
I was actually listening for where I could come at you because I seriously don't see any reason why anybody should consider this thing in Nigeria. You said we have to find a way to adapt whatever we are incorporating into Nigerian culture. And if you are doing that, then that simply means that Nigerian culture cancels out the entirety of whatever it is we're incorporating because Nigerian culture has no space or no room for this thing we are calling mental health.
It's because of people like you.
I don't understand.
It's because of the
that.
mentality of people like you
I came.
that you feel that mental health.
I was born into this place. I came into this place and I met what is already on ground.
Yeah.
And I moved on with it. And my life is fine. I'm happy.
Have you really moved on with it?
Oh, God.
Good question.
Is he happy?
Go Kwayo. Go Kwayo.
What
What does moving on look like for you? What does that mean to you?
Going through the motions, wake
Okay.
up, pray, eat. I must eat. dress up, go to wherever it is I
Your
want to
routine.
go.
Yeah.
My daily routine. There's
can't
structure, there is order, there is a plan.
Okay.
So that's exactly how it is.
And what
like,
happens when something derails you off that
when
plan?
something derails, either I ignore if it's an ignorable or I attack it.
Salam,
and
you
I
don't ignore.
exploit
Ignore where?
it. I said I ignore if it is an ignorable.
Nothing is
I
ignorable
don't
to
think-
you. I beg
don't
to
think
differ.
I've seen you ignore.
You've never ignored anything.
What do you mean I've never ignored anything?
So, to the best of our knowledge. Mbo?
Even things that are not supposed to infuriate the
Salam.
normal average person,
Human being
you will just
that has a healthy
play,
mind.
Like,
I don't understand. They are in an environment where currently everything is stifling. Am I not in my right to be infuriated?
No.
this is why the mental health is important.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, the whole place, like, there are triggers everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
You are leaving your house, you might, for clumsy people, you might hit your foot on probably the door or something, and then you are already feeling pain, and then that pain translates to frustration. Your mood is already changing. For those who jump buses, Alagbado people, you get to the bus station, or you see people shouting and pushing, you're already upset. It's already, in fact, that's what happens to you on most cases. And then you say you don't get your own small frustration because all of these things are piling up. They are not going away. That one that you hit your leg, you did not forget it. It's just that pain, it has subsided a bit, but it's still in your head. The moment the conductor shouts at you or pushes you, that one will add, it will top it. Then probably when you come to the office and then somebody now says, or wherever you are going, and somebody now says, Salam, do this thing, like, you understand?
I don't understand.
That is why.
If it's my responsibility and my role to do what I was asked to do, why would I react?
See, it all go back to the knowledge of the sponge. You keep soaking up all these bad experiences, bad energy, quote and unquote. And at the end of the day, when you don't let it out, you don't sit down to sort of, for lack of a better word, reflect on how all these things affect you in one way or the other. At the end of the day, you will bring out something that people around you begin to wonder.
Okay, before we turn this into a Salam intervention,
Actually,
let's
you need it. You need it.
Let's of course refer again to our professional in the house. So please, of course, it's not only on the technical stuff. You can also help out the rascals whenever, if you want to also analyze me as well. I'm very sure maybe an analysis for me, maybe get my mental health game on, even though I don't know what that is.
Thank God there's hope.
What do you mean there's hope?
She can
I'm only
analyze
talking
it.
about it from the perspective of I don't mind if a lovely lady talks to me. I don't really send all the focus on your brain. I don't know. Anyway, the impact of social media on mental health.
Yeah.
I have a lot of reservations to this, but I just want to hear your take on this, and also from them as well. Like, how much of an impact do you think social media has on one's mental health?
A lot. A very strong impact. I mean, I feel like social media is one of those things that there are a lot of pros and there are a lot of cons, right? So if we think back to something like Facebook, right, and like the original intent for it, when Facebook was created, it was for them to keep in contact with people that are not around them, exactly, and just share things like that. And it grew into something bigger, same thing with social media. So with social media, you're able to see what other people are up to, maybe like your loved ones, if you're not in the same location, but because it's become bigger and bigger and bigger, there are more people's opinions and things that you're inviting into your life. And even from like a mental health perspective, like there's a rise of mental health content on social media, which again, pros and cons. It's great, people are getting awareness about it, but cons is that there's a lot of information, right? And your analogy of the sponge, if you keep soaking in all that information, you're going to, when you now end up sitting in front of a professional, like if you end up coming to see me, you say, I saw this on TikTok, I think I have ADHD, I think I have this one, I think I have that one. So it definitely has its pros and its cons. And then we have things like comparison, right? So general, like feeling dissatisfied with your life because you've seen somebody else's display of their life and they only show you like the highlight reels. So it has a strong effect on our mental health, which it can be positive and also negative.
Okay.
He begs to differ.
I thank you for already knowing where I'm going. Now, my take on this is anyone who allows social media to impact how they progress in life.
Allows.
Who?
That's a very
No.
strong word, but carry on.
Wait, what do you mean it's strong?
Continue, Sha.
Carry on.
No, I want to know.
Allows, so like anyone that chooses, right?
Yeah, it's your
Okay.
choice to pick in whatever you have. It's literally your phone, it's your laptop, and you're the one literally scrolling.
So it's a self-control thing, Abi.
It's a self-control thing.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at someone else's life and allowing it to impact how you want your own life to progress? And that's my point. I see it as a sign of weakness.
Okay. I'm just going to give a quick, brief experience. So, late last year, Sha, a lot of my secondary school mates were getting married and settling down. And I was like, what's going on? It's something that it's not as if you allow it, but it's sort of an unconscious thing that happens that you tend to now sit down and ask yourself that, this person did this one. This person have do this person has done, this person is working here, this person has this, and you now begin to sort of measure yourself, and you're like, it's not adding up, considering the fact that you grew up with these people. There are people that you went to school with. So I'm not going to make you use the word allow, because that's if I'll consciously say, I want to compare myself. Just something that subconsciously, it just happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yes, because, sorry, let me give you an example. Think about it, right? Okay, there's fuel scarcity now. Before fuel scarcity started, you might see a few cars that are lining up by the petrol station. And then you don't choose to start thinking like, oh my gosh, should I go and buy petrol? You don't think to start panicking, but the information that has been presented in front of you with the cars lining up, you start thinking like, oh my God, should I go and buy petrol even if you have a full tank or 3/4 of a tank, right? So it's not like you wake up and in that moment when you're driving past the petrol station, you're like, and now I'm going to start thinking maybe I should go and buy petrol. Do you understand? So that's why the word allow. I do hear you. I don't completely disagree that there is some self-control that has to go into that. But it's not a conscious like, okay, now I'm going to think this way. Now I'm going to start comparing myself, right? It's when you're constantly exposed to information, before you know it, you're going to start questioning. And it will start with what if, or what's going on. It's not a switch that you turn on and off.
The thing is, from a sociological
Come on,
perspective,
sociology.
We are social beings. We are meant to interact, and this interaction over generations and generations has motivated people to do certain things. You see, in times of war, you see a general, even if you have not read books, you at least seen movies. A general will come and give some motivational talk, and then you see somebody who could not wield a sword. The person will come out and is ready to fight. Now, this tells you that the people around us and what is going on in their lives has impact on us.
Absolutely.
And then coming on social media, this impact is now amplified.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to give you something that happened. I was to go for a job interview. In fact, it was a job that I knew nothing about. Instead of me to research the job, I decided to go and watch motivational videos. After downloading like 40 minutes worth of motivational videos, I went to the interview. People who knew what the job was about, I was confident. I went there, I spoke. They called me back. I did not make it through the next phase, but that first phase, I was able to speak confidently.
You see,
this tells you the impact of what social media can do. It can affect you.
Absolutely.
There's pros, there's cons. You saying that self-control, there's always a limit. There's always a limit to how much you can control, and then
that's where my point of weakness comes in. I don't want to point fingers here, but I mean, if you are giving yourself limits, then what kind of person are you? Why? It's weakness. You should always be able to be in control of yourself. It is.
I like the way
You're giving me, I'm so sorry, you're giving me like, all those toxic masculinity podcasts. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm trying as possible not to be on YouTube.
And it's funny, the fact is, He's
Give me
opposite
agitate
of
by
that.
acting.
Now that he's talking,
I
he
don't
wants to
see-
sound like that.
I don't
like,
see anything on social media that affects me. I do not. I
Because
cannot.
see, you are like
Okay.
0.0009 something % of the population
Man.
that probably feels that way.
Okay, that means the majority of human beings are weak.
I think he's just saying it.
He's just saying
for
it
talk.
before talk.
How am I saying it for talk?
Because there's no way you can tell me that. I believe there are times when we've had conversation, to be honest, where we'll be like, this money need to get
It's a normal thing
no,
for you to
understand,
crave
understand.
money.
No, understand. There's something there. You did not make that statement because you craved money. You made that statement because you saw somebody who was amassing wealth and the person is living well like that.
Oh, this is rich.
Now, this is exactly what it is. It is the fact that social media is a recent thing, but the fact is we've been a social being for quite some time, and the impact, there's so much influence on our behavior from other people. Like what people do, it impacts us like in one way or knowingly or unknowingly, willingly or unwillingly.
So this is what I've just been getting generally from every single person here. From you emphasizing on the fact that we as humans and our needs to always interact and be socially active. From you saying that there should be limits to self-control, and you obviously being the combination of both.
No, I'm
From
not saying there
professional-
should be limit to self-control. The fact that this thing happens unconsciously now leads to the fact where you realize that, oh, why am I basing my life based off on someone else's? We don't have the same timetable. We're not running the same race.
Okay.
So that is when this thing has already happened unconsciously, you now sit and talk to yourself that
Absolutely.
this is where self-control has to come in. I
Yeah.
cannot be basing my movements or my life based on whatever that. If it's like, oh, this person gets me, congratulations to the person, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
So this is just basically a combination of things that leads
But
to
say the
one-
human being is weak.
one-
You supposed chop king.
one. I mean, it's the fact.
Chop bad.
This thing is just one big pointer to a massive grandeur or massive delusion of grandeur. That's just what I'm saying. See, look, not even grandeur. It's just a massive delusion. Period.
So okay, let me jump in. You said that people that see things on social media and it affects them, they're weak.
Yes.
Okay, the things that you you clearly have a definition of what those things are. If you see a skit on social media that you find funny,
Yeah.
don't you have a reaction to it?
If I find something funny, I laugh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
then, by your definition, though, if you see something on social media and you have a reaction to it, then you're
Yeah.
weak.
Oh! I help you press it.
I don't think you're understanding my point. You literally said that, okay, for example, now I'm going to use this example of wealth, or like the fact that, we might have conversations sometimes and I might be like, I need to get this money. And he said it's because I might have seen some things on social media, people with a lot of wealth, a lot of money, and, the way they're living, and I want to be like that. That's different from a normal reaction to me seeing a skit that is funny and I laugh. And the fact that I'm even laughing is simply because I want to laugh.
Ah.
That's the thing.
God,
I want to
that
laugh. Listen, if
You're
it is-
choosing to laugh.
I'm
have you?
choosing to laugh.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of things that could generally be considered funny, and I just make it in my head like I don't want to laugh.
Why don't you want to laugh?
I don't want to laugh because I just feel like I don't want to laugh. I want.
So you genuinely see something funny.
Yeah.
And you trigger your mind that you should not laugh.
Yeah.
You have a problem.
No, it's not a problem. It's me just basically being in
I hope you
control.
are not trying to win an argument, because if you are trying to win an argument, you are going to lose at all fronts.
I'm not using a lot of
This is made to make you understand that. That's why we have a professional here to make you understand that this is how things are. But if you have locked your mind, you have a mental health problem.
Serious one. How can you say that you will?
My mind is not
Okay,
locked.
let's talk about something like the killings in Gaza.
Okay.
When you see those children who are killed, the ones who are their hands cut off, how do you feel?
Sometimes I might choose to feel pity. Sometimes I might choose to just move on. Because it's my business that day.
Oh my God.
And I just move on.
You have
Okay.
you have meant.
Have you been in a fight before?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Why were you in the fight?
Because I disagree with what the other person was saying, and it had to get to physical
Why
points.
couldn't you leave?
Why couldn't you allow?
There were some points where I said to allow
Not
to
to-
leave. If I fight, it's because I want to fight.
There is a cloud. You want us to laugh.
I'm okay. You are choosing to laugh. It's your problem. You want to laugh.
I've not even laughed.
I am fighting because I want to fight. Sometimes I don't want to fight and I just move on. Even though I know I can physically overpower the person, I just move on. Everything still depends on choice. This whole I'm soaking things in unconsciously. I don't believe it. It's all BS to me. I don't believe in it at all.
Have you apologized for something you did before?
Yeah.
You did with your mind.
Yeah.
But you apologized.
Okay, I don't understand. I don't understand where this is going. You are saying that apology is something unconscious or what? Like,
no, have you apologized for
I
something
apologized
you
for
did
something
knowingly?
I did. Yeah, knowingly. No, something I did knowingly. If I discovered that at the end of the day, maybe the thing actually impacted the person to a point that was extremely negative, and I just said to apologize. If not, it's my business.
But you're not conscious that it will get to that point.
But you know that there are some actions that you would take that in that moment you don't think of it as anything. But later on, maybe something happens, repercussions occurs, and then you now sit and be like, oh wow, maybe I shouldn't have.
No, I don't think it's gonna be that way. Somebody that
allows
apex human.
Apex predator.
Maybe I shouldn't have in my that's not in my dictionary.
Wow.
Everything I do is directly streamlined. But before we go on the third segment of the show, where we obviously have to agree, and of course, this is usually where we give out the bat to somebody. So who are we giving the bat to, ladies and gentlemen?
I don't even know.
You don't even know. It's between me and her, obviously.
No, I don't think the only thing you will get is more rings.
It's more rings from that bill. Because let's be honest, based on what you've been saying so far, you need to see a therapist.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our battle down of the day. She has been very, very calm, and she has been throwing the most stakes. She actually got more rings than anybody here. So it's very, very fair that she.
So sorry, I have a question. Yeah. So if I hit you with this bat, are you going to choose to have a reaction?
Choose not to feel pain.
I can actually choose.
You can choose not to feel pain. You can choose not to feel pain.
I can. I mean, the fact that the pain it's a physical response. The nerves are transmitting the pain to the brain.
So exactly the same thing, right? So if somebody experiences let's even use trauma, right? If somebody goes through a difficulty, the response that they have is in response to that difficulty. So trauma is an emotional response to a difficulty, to adversity that happens. So again, it's not a choice. You might decide that, okay, you know what, I'm going to choose not to have a reaction to this pain, so I might not shout, I might not, curse, I might not do X, Y, Z, but you just said the nerves and everything, they're going to respond, right? So it's the same way. If somebody were to, let's say, like, lose a loved one, right? Or they walked in and saw that their loved one had passed away, right? They might decide that they may either consciously decide that, okay, you know what, we have stuff to do, we have to do the burial, we have to do this, we have to do X, Y, Z, but it doesn't mean that response is not there. That response is going to come out regardless, right? So we like to differentiate between physical and mental health, whereas it's the same concept. It's the same concept. So you might choose not to shout if I hit you with this bat. I'm not going to hit you. You might choose not to shout, right? But your body is going to have a reaction, right? Same way, if somebody experiences a traumatic event, they may choose not to have a reaction, but their body is still going to have a reaction, and that reaction is going to come up one way or the other.
Oy. So
I'm going to ring the bell for myself.
I follow you and ring it too. Salam, don't come on.
It's my choice to not ring the bell.
Okay, sorry, no vex.
While the mind is abstract, the fact is we have so much chemical processes going on inside of us. That's why the moment there's fear, you get adrenaline rush and all these things. The moment you see somebody who is fine, you start feeling all those things you feel in your body.
Hey.
Hold on.
I don't feel nothing, man.
Oh, guys, stop it.
I said I was going to come back to it. You said you saw a fine woman. Okay. Let me just keep that one aside first. Now, the fact is, while you are trying to say there's the mind, nothing should touch the mind or anything, in fact, there's a lot of things will touch the mind. Because the mind is not as abstract as you think. There's the brain. There are synapses that fire when you want to think. There are things that happen, and while those ones are happening, there are other chemical processes that are going on within the body, That's why somebody will just stay and think that, oh, I feel like I'm sick. I feel like I'm sick. Before you know, the body will start to fight sickness. There's not there. Somebody will just
For him, for instance.
Probably is not even sick, sef.
So the malaria is not real. Why did you allow the malaria?
Probably you woke up
Good
to
one.
malaria.
Why did you allow the malaria?
So,
You know what?
understand all of this.
These people are on a mission to cook me, but it's my choice to not allow myself to be cooked.
Okay.
So we're gonna go on a quick break, and of course we will come back to the point where we have to agree and disagree and get to a point of consensus on whether mental health is important or whether it is not. I still stand that it is not, but I'm overpowered here. So we're gonna come back to the Curveball podcast. Do not go anywhere. It's still the Curveball podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's still the Curveball podcast, and we've had a lot of intellectual boosts thrown here and there. A lot of I've learnt some new stuff that
Although you still don't agree with.
and I still don't agree with, obviously. But I mean, knowledge is good. It's good. Knowledge is power. Yeah. So of course we still have the gang here: Richie, Toby, and lovely Funto. Who is absolutely enjoying that advert. Should I be worried?
No, you shouldn't, but I want to put one in my car.
You want to put one in your car?
Yeah.
Okay. We should be able to arrange that.
Thank you.
For a fee.
What fee? Are you going to give me a fee for being here?
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, and this is usually the segment of the show where we have to reach an agreement, but I don't think that's going to be possible. I'm staying this right out of the bat right now. It's not going to be possible because I'm still here and I still don't feel convinced enough that...
I want to throw a question to you, Kudus.
Who be Kudus?
Okay, you obviously represent a majority of people in Nigeria when it comes to this whole mental health issue.
Go on.
Now, you grow up, you marry, you have a child, and the child walks up to you. Let's say the child in teenage years, and the child comes up to you and says, "Daddy, I feel depressed." What's going to be your reaction?
Well,
Or how are you going to navigate the situation?
Well, first off, I'm going to take this to another point of... There are ways I think about this in my head. When it comes to
Sociologist.
I don't know. I don't want to point fingers or trigger anybody here, but that's the point of the show. I'll trigger people. What's my business? If my child was a girl, then obviously there will be, that's where I have to actually force. Not really force. It's my child. I love her and I want her to be.
You will force and allow emotion to come at that point.
I'll just be like,
You
I'll
allow
have to
it.
talk to her. She's a lady.
So you'll be
I
more
have to-
sensitive.
I'll be more sensitive towards
okay.
her, hey,
And then if it's a boy?
He's a boy.
I mean, it's very obvious. I never really meant to meet my dad and say I'm depressed. What am I meeting my dad for? I'm telling him, be a man, for the love of God, suck it up and move on.
Do you know what
I was
empathy
going to say something, but, maybe
Please
I
say
shouldn't.
it. It needs to be said.
I was going to say, maybe that's why we're here. Maybe that's why we're having this reaction.
I turned out fine.
You turned out fine.
This bad is
Salam, in all honesty, you feel you turned out fine.
I am fine.
I'm going to be very honest to you. You are a ticking time bomb.
Oh.
One small, you are. And I have seen it happen to you more times than I can count.
Huh.
In fact, you have been the most triggered person I have met since being on this show. And I'm not just saying it because I want to bash you.
I know, but those things that have triggered me are things that are actually valid.
But are things that
then
will
who
not
sees
trigger the next
the
person.
metric of validity? Like, who
Everybody
determines
goes
that?
through. Everybody goes through the same.
There's a metric of validity.
You just said there are things that are valid. So what's the metric? Who determines what's valid?
And these are things that just anybody would normally like. Anybody who feels the same way I feel would hear and
wait,
be like,
But you feel. Yes, you feel. Yes,
the mind.
thing that triggers you will not trigger me. It will not trigger her. But you will feel and it
See,
will trigger
Salam,
me.
I cannot choose you to feel triggered. These are things that if you look at it from the
Salam, there are some
perspective-
things that on a normal day is part of, especially in this Lagos, it's part of life that you normally wouldn't. Is not supposed to trigger you. You are not meant to allow it.
These things are not normal things that should be happening.
That's the
There's
point.
that.
Yes.
Right. But unfortunately, we're in the environment that we are in, so we have to adapt, right? And people adapt in unhealthy ways. That's where there's the difficulty lies, right? That's where it becomes a problem. So people adapt in unhealthy ways, and they will come to work and take it out on their coworkers, right? They will come to work and start shouting and have a stinky attitude, right? Instead of just acknowledging that, this was tough.
Sorry to cut.
Wait, but I want to answer the question on, like, if a child...
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, just as a professional, right? If that were to happen to anybody, my recommendation would be just be curious. Ask more questions.
Empathy.
Exactly, right? Be empathetic and just ask more questions like, okay, what's going on? Find out what they even think depression is and what they are defining as depression. Don't just go with what they are saying, right? Like, find out more information. What happened? How are you feeling? Just
Can't
lead
be
with
silent.
curiosity.
What do you mean can't be?
Can't be
I don't-
sad.
Why would you do that for his girl now?
But not for
the guy.
You see, that's why we're raising.
What do you mean that's why we're raising what? You are a guy. You are not supposed to allow. It is the staple of life for a man.
You're not
that you
supposed to allow us.
You experience hardness. That is what it means to be a
You
man.
know one thing, I think this is where I always say that being strong for too long is actually a very bad thing for one's mental health.
Oh, really? So you want me to go around wailing about
I'm
that?
going to-
we're not saying you should wail.
You said you
I'm
should
going
go
to explain-
around,
I'm
but
going
just
to
have a
explain to you.
reaction.
Being strong for too long, because there's always a point where everything fires and then everything explodes. Now, you might not know that point. Like, I'm going to digress a little and talk about this in the context of Nigerians. Nigerians, we easily adapt to rubbish.
Yes.
Let me say rubbish because fuel now is around 1,000 naira per litre in Lagos. And
No way.
we are still buying, and there was protest. Nobody came out for protest. In Lagos, we are still buying. If this fuel goes to 2.5, we'll still be buying until the point where it will be like there's no way again. You understand? Now we are very strong. We are strong people. When we are not even supposed to be strong, we are supposed to be feeling these things so that we can fight and see how we can come out of it. Now that is being strong in a wrong direction. I'm going to say that because you were asking me which day were you asking me that, why will I be listening to love songs? Why can't I listen to I'm not gonna take it easy on my head? Now, I ask you a question. Life is the country and life not already hard enough. Must I listen to hardcore songs to prove that I'm a man?
Okay, so I don't understand. You'd rather go around with your headset on listening to someone.
Calm songs that will calm
See,
me down.
Regulate
Salam,
you
we already
actually,
see, we're already in a
there's
tough-
biological component
Are you
to that,
charging
but yeah.
We're already in a tough
Hold on.
country and culture.
This thing.
Actually, so you now listen to I'm not going to take it easy on my haters, and then anybody that annoys you is a hater. I'm going to get it on
I mean,
side.
I'm actually I don't really care about the lyrics. I just don't like. I don't like the fact that all these love songs that he listens to are always so upbeat. And why am I going around jamming my head to? I'm happy.
That's because you have positioned your mind to feel like when you have emotions or you have reactions, you are weak.
That's why I said
Law
it's a
of
ticking time bomb.
Charles Darwin literally did this his entire life's work before the man
Thank
died.
God it's going
Evolution.
scientific.
Yes, now law of natural selection. The strong shall survive. The strong is meant to survive. If you go around feeling all these things you people are saying someone should feel, you without
The strong die. The strong go to war.
They
They are
do.
in Sambisa forest and they get shot at. They step on mines and bombs explode on them and they die. That's the strong.
Okay.
The strong have weak immune system, so when they have little things like
Malaria,
Yes,
mosquito
malaria,
birds,
they
they
just-
take.
You know what? Yeah, she deserves that one. She does that one. You know what? Okay. It's very obvious that this episode we have to for the first time on this show we can't agree, and I know it's because of me, and I'm happy it's because of me because no, I don't agree. But this episode we're gonna have to have the sequel of this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. It's the Curveball podcast, and of course, like we do for every single guest that we have here. Sorry, I was looking for the marker there. We do for every single guest that we have here on the Curveball podcast. They have to sign on our ball. She went home with the bat.
I'm going home with it.
Yeah. Literally.
Not only.
I was getting so
She wants
excited.
the bat. She's got the bat, Of course, she gets the ball too because I don't know. Has anyone else dropped any agreeable? Oh, of course, me. Yeah, I mean,
Which
no,
agreeable
no,
con?
you
Which
don't.
agreeable?
I think she gets
I
it.
mildly agreed with him about self-control and social media.
Mildly.
For me.
Where's the camera? See the mildly.
Yeah.
It's really
So
tiny.
she's going with the two.
she's going on with the bother. Do you think she had more agreeable takes than you?
Yeah, I think
I think she was calm for Toby to be this calm. She should give her the ball so that we not have a serial case on our
But
hands.
let our guests.
No, I think you can have it.
But
Oh,
she,
but you
of
want
course,
me to
she
sign it?
obviously she will sign it.
No, she'll sign it.
Oh, look, it's a mental health thing going on. Inclusivity and politeness and kind of. Whoever gets the ball, or guy, which one is all this one?
So why are you holding the ball?
I'm
Keep
supposed
it
to
back.
sign on the ball. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on Curveball.
I think we
You're
need to
welcome.
come as a group and have special intervention for you.
Yeah.
Like we'll put you in the middle like this.
Even if it's intervention fund, GoFundMe will do it.
Because you need a special therapy session.
Yeah.
You need to see a therapist.
We'll get right on that. Of course, before we go off the show, let's have our guests give us a few closing remarks on what mental health has meant, the impact and the importance of mental health in Nigeria. For all of you out there who still have belief
Please don't
in
be
the
like
thing.
Salam.
Are you the guest?
Lovely Funto, please talk.
Okay, so like I said in the beginning, mental health is really just about the health of our mind and our emotional and psychological well-being. So there are things that we can do to maintain healthy minds, to have a healthy mind. So things like getting enough sleep, right? Because getting enough sleep impacts your mental health. Yes, it does. Getting enough sleep, getting enough social interactions. Our sociologist has told us that we're social beings. So getting enough social interactions, taking time to take care of yourself, right? Because Lagos is a stressful place, like we've all agreed. So whether taking care of yourself looks like sleeping in on the weekend, eating your favorite food, watching a movie, just doing something that you enjoy. And then, of course, talking to someone. This can look like a professional or even somebody that you trust that's around you. And just a quick tip, if you are going to talk to someone, rather, if somebody's going to talk to you, just listen. Sometimes people just want a listening ear. So just listen, don't judge, be kind, be compassionate, things that he doesn't understand.
Okay.
So, yeah. Hope those tips are helpful.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Thank God.
Sorry, that was a little mean. I'm sorry.
But he does not understand
He does
it.
not feel it.
But he knows.
He's not allowing
But
it.
he's not allowing him to feel himself.
But did you feel it?
But did you feel it?
I usually said it. I mean, I feel
No,
nothing.
please,
Okay,
please.
you
Exactly. You feel you allow yourself to feel nothing.
I feel no.
Abba.
Yeah.
That
All right,
hurts
ladies
him.
and, ladies and
Clear the
gentlemen,
streets.
thankfully, this is the end of the road. Thank you to the listeners. Remember, when life hits you with a curveball, swing. So stay guarded, and of course, we will see you next time on the Curveball podcast. There is going to be a second edition of this very episode. It is needed. The whole cast is going to be here again. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Lovely Fumto. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Richie. And of course, everyone, thank you to our listeners. And you know how we do it here, guys, on the show. Everyone say what?
Curveball.